Hi guys, it's Teacher Tana and welcome to my online classroom. Today I want to continue with my mini-series of live to online, supporting teachers who are moving from a physical classroom into an online environment. If you're here for information about VIP Kid, don't forget to check out some of my previous videos. You may also use my referral code here and email me at hiteacher.tana@gmail.com. I would love to send you some one-on-one resources to help you with your VIP Kid journey. Today's tutorial is going to cover creating digital worksheets and converting worksheets that you already have into a digital format so that it's now usable within the online environment. Majority of us have amassed some incredible resources, usually in the form of workbooks or PDF files, and now we're having to rethink, how do I use this great resource in my online environment? After today's tutorial, I'm really hoping for two things. The first is that you feel empowered to create your own digital resource and worksheet, and for the second is that you feel confident in your ability to convert a PDF tried and true document into a digital format that your students can edit and respond with in the digital classroom. All right, let's get started. Okay guys, so step one of our tutorial today is how to create your own digital worksheet. So first you want to log into Gmail just like you normally would, and today I'm going to click on our little Google Apps little pad here, and I'm actually going to do probably something a little bit surprising to you guys. Now when we think teachers and we think creating a worksheet or a document, you might default to Google Docs. But I'm going to challenge you today to try Google Slides, and this is why. As an English teacher, as a literature teacher, I spend a lot of time giving kids practice, right? So they're writing constantly, they're editing, they are working on worksheets, that kind of thing. And in the past, I've used exclusively Google Docs. But I have found that Google Docs can actually be really clunky. It's not as user-friendly as I'd like it to be. When I put in tables or shapes or even pictures, I can't always put them in the exact spot that I want to. And so I found a workaround for this, and I can't remember for the life of me who I saw do this, but it has changed my teaching in so many ways when I realized how much easier it is to use Google Slides. So go ahead and go to Google Slides, and I'm going to walk you through doing this, and I think it's going to be a game changer for you too. So here it is. I've opened up Google Slides, and then I'm going to go to a blank document. So I'm opening up, and there it is. So there's a couple things that I want to change right away, and the first of those is to get rid of this theme dialog box. I don't need it, so I'm going to close that up. Then I'm going to go to my layout, and I'm going to make a blank layout. So nice clean slate to work with. Now if you look at this and I were to print this still wouldn't be like standard paper size for us in the classroom. So I'm going to go to File, Page Setup, and then here you can see that it's actually set for widescreen because this is set up for a presentation, but I don't want to present it. I want to make a worksheet. So I'm going to use the drop arrow, press Custom, and I'm going to change this to 8.5 by 11 and apply that. So you can see now it looks like a standard sized paper because it is. And then I'm going to change my presentation to characterization practice, or actually I'm going to call it indirect and direct characterization practice. And the more specific you can name things, the better. It just makes it easier to find later. Okay, so now my worksheet is like ready to go. So I'm going to do a couple things here. First, I want to insert a text box. So you can see I pressed insert, and there's all kinds of things you can insert. Text box is what I'm doing. I'm going to, when I do that, I get my little crosshairs. So there, I'm going to drag and pull. And then I always start my worksheets with the MLA heading. I'm trying to get my students to really adapt that and use it. So the default size will be 12, so I'm always going to change that. 14, so I always change that to 12. And you can see my first text box is ready to go. Name, teacher, period, and date. Now I don't necessarily want this box visible, like the outline of it, so I'm just going to leave it as is. Then I'm going to insert another text box. This one is going to maybe have my directions. So find a character in your novel and fill out the information below. Okay, And I'm gonna bold that. I do want to keep it at size 12. And so I might even add the words directions before it. There we go. So that one is ready to go. This one, I still don't really want a box around, so I'm just gonna leave it that way. But now I wanna add, instead of just a standard text box, maybe I wanna add a shape. Okay, so I'm gonna add, there's a bunch of different shapes you can do here. You can also do arrows and call outs, that kind of stuff. All of these are super convenient. So I might do, I think I'm gonna do this shape. This shape looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like this one. So notice how it does fill in gray, and I don't want to keep that gray. So I can go to fill color here, and I want to make this transparent. So you can see it's now completely transparent. And that one is ready to go. Notice how I can type in it. Right now, when I do a shape, it's gonna give me the option to type kind of in the middle, and I wanna move that to the top. So you see how I'm gonna go here to the paragraph style and go up, and now it's on the top. So I'm gonna put examples of direct characterization. Okay. And then I might want to center that. I definitely want to change that font to 12 and bold it. And there's my first box. So that's awesome. And then I can make the weight of it. And by weight, I'm talking about the border, like how heavy, how thick it is. I can make it a little bit higher. I like to keep it at 2. So there it is. And then I can insert another shape. Such interesting shapes here. I wasn't expecting that shape, and it is actually perfect for what I was thinking of doing. And then I want to add another one of those shapes down here. And so you can see I can edit it, make it fatter, make it skinnier. I can, yeah, so that one's done. So again, I'm gonna change the fill to transparent. I wanna make this the weight too. And then I want to put the text on the top. So examples of indirect characterization. Right, so that's bolded, size 12, center. Good, so I've got that done. And then I think for the last thing, I want to add another table down here. And this one I am going to add weight to. And I'm going to write a summary of your character below. You can see I'm lining everything up. I'm going to change this to 12. I like it bolded. Okay, there's definitely some blank space here, and I love to add more information if I can, or add graphics as well. So maybe for indirect characterization, I can add a reminder. Maybe I can put another table and put, so indirect, steal, S-T-E-A-L. And then we reviewed what steal is. Don't forget to steal information. So you can see here, I'm actually going to have them fill this in. What does S stand for? So when we talked about indirect characterization, we talked about how the author will often tell us about a character without without just explicitly saying this character is rude. And then the way we can find that information is by looking at this character's speech, their thoughts, their effects on other people's, their actions, and even their looks. So I'm going to do some line spacing here. There we go. So they can fill in that, and hopefully that'll be a trigger to help them remember indirect characterization. All right, so let's say I want to put something here in this blank space, because I hate blank spaces. If I'm going to print something, I'm going to go all the way. So actually, I do want to bold this too. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Insert, Image, and I can search the web here. I can upload from my computer. So let's just search the web, and I'm going to put nice. See what nice clip art. See what pops up. Actually, let's do character clip art. And obviously, you can find whatever you want. You can also just do a Google search and then insert what you find. I kind of like this one. Kind of gives a character spotlight. And so you can see I just dragged it. I could also have clicked it and then just press insert, whichever you want. But you can see once it's in there, I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. actually gonna make it a pretty decent size. There we go. And so there we go. You can close that up and I'm done. So my worksheet is ready to go. So how do I share this with my students? So I'm gonna go to Classroom, and here's my sample class. I'm gonna go to Classwork, and then I'm gonna create an assignment, and I'm gonna name this one Indirect and Direct Characterization. To say it slow so I remember how to spell it. And then I'm gonna upload my document here. So this is the one we're just working on, add. And instructions, open the link, fill in the information using your book to help you. There you go. And this is really important, this step right here. So here you can see a little drop down. It says students can view, students can edit file, or make a copy for each student. And I'm going to suggest that you click make a copy for each student. And this is why. If you leave it on students can view, then that's all they can do. They can open it up and they can look at it. They can't edit it in any way. To edit it, they're going to have to do a couple workarounds. They're going to have to go to file, make a copy, then they're going to edit it, then they have to re-upload it into this assignment, which kind of like, it just doesn't make sense. It kind of goes around the whole point of assignment, right? Assignment, you should just assign it and they should just be able to fill it out. So I wouldn't do that. I would do that for maybe a resource that you just want them to look at, like a PDF of a story, that kind of thing. But in this case, it wouldn't make sense to make it just a view only file. The other option you have is students can edit the file. And the problem with that is if you give the student editing right, they're actually editing the file that you just created. So all the students, all 30 of them that you've assigned this to, are going to be on that same file, and that's just going to be complete chaos. There are some times that I've seen other teachers do this for like discussions, that kind of thing, which I think is pretty neat. But for this particular assignment, it just doesn't make any sense. So I would just put make a copy for each student. And then another little hack that I love here is I can choose a couple classes that I want to assign this for, and that's really nice. I know you can also go back and reuse a post, but this is just, I think, user-friendly in order to make copies really quickly for my other classes. And then you just press assign. Okay, so now if you want to look at it and see what it looks like, you can click on it right here, Indirect and Direct Characterization. There's your directions. There's your actual assignment. And again, as each student opens it, it's gonna create their unique copy that they can then edit and submit to you for you to look at. Okay, so that's step one. Now step two, what if you already have a file, this like awesome file that you downloaded earlier or that you found, and you're like, I don't want to recreate this. Like, I know I can recreate it, and it can be pretty quick once you get the hang of it, but I don't want to. I just want to use this file and I want to give credit to whoever made it. So I'm going to show you how to do that piece. So before I started this video, I actually did a quick search for characterization, and this one popped up, and I thought, hey, this one's pretty good. And you can see I actually modeled what I created in that last slide off of this one, just to show you that you can also recreate it if you need to, but you don't have to. So I'm going to go ahead and download this file. It says click on image to download, so there it is. Okay, so here it is. It's ready to go. 2 pages. I'm going to press my download button. Now, when you press your download button, a couple different things can happen. I know for a PC, a lot of times it asks you to name the file, which I would do. And then it asks you where you want to put it. And I'm going to suggest that you put it in desktop. For me, I use a Mac, and mine is down here. I'm going to press open, or actually I'm going to press show in Finder, and it's going to show me where it put it. So for me, you can see here, I put it in my downloads, but I want it here on my desktop. So I can either drag it to my desktop like you saw me do there, or I can drag it to my desktop this way. Either way, so there it is. It's on my desktop and it is ready to go. Okay, so now I want to open this file. There it is, it's beautiful. I'm like, yes, this is the one I want to use. So now, how do I use it? First, I want to do view, and I want to zoom out, and I'm going to keep zooming out until I just have the page as big as I can get it while still filling the page on my screen. And then I'm going to do a screen capture, which means I'm just going to take a picture of the screen. For my Mac, I do that by clicking Command-Shift-4, and then I get little crosshairs here. If you're using a PC, you can go down to the bottom left-hand corner where you have search, and you can type in the word snipping tool. And when you click snipping tool, you want to click next, and then you're going to get the little crosshairs. I'm sorry, not next. You want to click new, and then you're going to get the little crosshairs just like I have. And then the steps are the same as what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to select the area, and I'm pulling without letting go of my mouse, and then letting go right there at the end. Now you can see mine is right here. It actually made a copy for me here on my desktop. So that is my screenshot. So hopefully in your dialog box that popped up for your PC, you're able to save it to desktop, and now you can see it on your desktop. So it's ready to go, and I'm actually done with this, though I do want to quickly give credit to where I got this from. So here we go. Thank you to the Middle School Matters blog. You rock. Okay, closing that back up. Always giving credit to my hardworking educator friends. All right, so here it is, ready to go. I might actually rename it. Renaming things really makes it easy, especially right now since everything is digital. It's hard to keep things straight. So I'm going to call this one Characterization Practice. So it is ready to go. Now I'm going to go back to my back to Google, and I don't need this anymore. So I'm going to close that. I don't need this worksheet anymore. But I do want a slide. So I'm going to click Google Slides, and I'm going to create a new slide here. I'm going to follow the same steps that I followed earlier. So get rid of theme. I don't need that anymore. I'm going to change my layout to blank. I want to make my page setup into custom 8.5 by 11 and apply it. Now, if you don't want to have to do these 3 steps every single time, I actually suggest you just do it once and name it template for worksheets. And then you can just close that up, right? And then later on, if you're like, I need to make a Google Sheet, a Google Slides worksheet, and I want to save myself, I want to save myself those steps. So I'm going to go to Google Slides here. And then there it is, template for worksheets. But watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to open that up, and then I'm going to say File, Make a Copy. And then I'm going to do a copy of the entire presentation. I only have one slide anyway, but entire presentation. And then I'm going to name it what I want to name it, and that is Characterization Practice. That way I always have my template ready to go, and I'm not constantly having to remake it. Actually, for my template, I also like to include the box on the top that had my name, the MLA heading, name, workshop period, date. So mine are always ready to go, and I just make copies from them every time. Saves me like a good minute and a half, which is really nice. Okay, so then I've got characterization practice. I'm here. I don't want to recreate it from scratch. I made a screenshot of it. So what do I do with that screenshot? You're going to go to background right here, and you're going to choose image. Now, of course, we saved ours, and so we're going to upload it. And then from desktop, it's right here. I named it characterization practice. So I'm going to open that up. And now check this out. This is so cool. You cannot edit it. Look at this. I can't do anything to this file, which is great because when I share it with my students, I don't want them to change or edit this file in any way. But at this point, you might be saying, what makes this different from a PDF? They still can't interact with it in a digital manner. Let me show you how we're going to change that in order so that they can. So I already showed you how to insert a text box. So we're going to insert a text box right now. So insert text box. Here's my little crosshairs. I'm going to put it in here. And then I've just put a text box in there. But check this out. If I move away from the text box, you don't see it anymore. And your students might not see it. So I actually added like a little hack, which is I type in here, click here to type your answer. And so now a student, even if they open this up and they don't know what's happening, they don't know there's a box there, they can see the click here to type. And if they click, bam, there's their text box and they can see it. I'm actually going to change this to a different color. I like to change it to like a blue color, and then make it size 12 and bold. I just prefer that for a couple of reasons. One, I can see really quickly who's answered if I can see like a lot of blue text on there. So that's really nice. It also stands out. So when a student, when they're seeing this, there's the blue, and their eyes are kind of drawn to it. So I like that. And then instead of typing this out again, I'm just going to make a copy of it. And you can do that by doing edit, copy, or I like to just use my shortcuts on my keyboard. So there's my copy. I'm going to move it over here. So you can see how I'm making these boxes able to be filled digitally now by typing from my students. Oh yeah, I was also going to say I like to make it size 12 because sometimes our students can make them ridiculous sizes. I know you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we go. This is not taking me very long at all, and obviously for smaller boxes I can always make the font much smaller, which is what I'm going to do here. As you can see, for date, I'm going to make this size 10. Yep, 10 ended up working out. All right. And then I'm just going to keep making copies here. I'm going to keep pasting them here. Oh, looks like I got to. Whoops. If that ever happens, you can just press undo. So it looks like edit copy. It actually, yeah, so there we go. I just made a copy on top of a copy by accident. But that's okay. Very easy fix, as you could see. And then here's my last text box. And so there, now a student can just click on each of these boxes to answer, and you can clean it up if you want. You can do all kinds of stuff there. But this worksheet is now ready to go. So how do I share it with my students? You share it in the same way that you did earlier. So I'm going to go back to Google Classroom. And this time I'm going to press Create Assignment, just like last time. And then I'm going to name it. And I want to keep consistent with all of my naming. So characterization, practice, add from Google Drive. And this just makes it easier to find the more consistent you are. Adding it, instructions, open the link to complete, answer the questions using your textbook. There it is. So again, I want to do my drop down menu, and I want to do make a copy for each student. If I have multiple classes that I'm assigning this to, I can also mark them all off here so that the assignment is published simultaneously for all the same classes that it is relevant for. And then I want to click assign, right? And that's it. So if I want to look at it, here it is, characterization practice, and I can open it up. Okay, well that's all I have for you today. If you found any of the information useful, don't forget to like and subscribe below. If you have some questions, please put them in your comments. I would love to get some answers back to you. I'm really hoping that these digital resources really become a staple of your online classroom. Okay, that's all I have for you today. See you on the internet.